Have you ever wondered why some tech products fail in the market? Like, why is it that these products don't sell despite great features, seamless user experience, designs, and massive marketing strategy? Well, we are here to dive deep into why this happened. I'm Chazi, and with me here is my co-host, Prolific. Hi, Prolific. Can we meet you?
Yeah, it's nice to be here. I'm Prolific. I'm a developer, passionate about what I do when it comes to tech. I'm a co-founder, and I'm so excited to be here to be co-hosting this exciting topic. We have a very interesting persona here today, and we would like to hear from him. Give you the honor to introduce yourself, sir.
All right, my name is Terry Banks Osako. I'm a business development expert.
Welcome.
Is that enough?
Yeah, that's enough.
Okay, just to be sure.
Welcome, Mr. Terry.
Thank you.
So, how long have you been in the tech space?
About 15 years.
Wow.
Sorry.
So, can you tell us some issues you've encountered when it comes to sales strategy and software development?
See, that question, you're tempting me. Right?
I think shoot your shot and let's see.
All right. You see, luckily, for about 10 years now, let's say 9 years plus, I have been working with fintech and invest tech.
Okay.
So after my education at Lagos Business School, I decided that I wanted fintech.
Okay.
So all post MBA, I've been doing from APIs to the market, literally, right?
Okay.
So I interface with developers, QAs, those guys. I interface with product designers, UI UX designers, like
Okay.
everything tech,
All right.
because I'm kind of like the interpretation of what the market wants. So if, to answer your question, it's tricky, but we have a bit of time, but we'll talk about that. Like, so what's your question again?
Okay. So, my question is, have you had encounter with developers and why are you in this tech space?
Okay, so I've had encounters with developers from my very first job,
Okay.
all right, till now, all right? So some good encounters, some really heated encounters, but
Okay.
all of it was because of the job. Let me give you an example.
Okay.
There was, some years ago, it was my second job,
Okay.
So my job was to pick a product that was sitting on the shelf
Alright.
and make it profitable, right?
Okay.
So it was a very Herculean task. One, the previous product manager was a technical product manager, while myself, I'm a sales guy,
Yeah.
a business development guy,
Feel you.
So stepping into that role was like a bit too big because that guy, he can troubleshoot, but I can't.
Okay.
So I was relying 100% on developers,
Okay.
and we had, at some point, he started calling me Mr. Billion. Why? Because when I come to the dev hub, I would tell them, this is what is possible. We can do 5 billion. Like, when I start talking, it's like, who is this guy? For a product that someone that's more experienced than you
Okay.
did not get there, what was giving you that, that confidence?
Confidence,
So,
yeah.
at first, I had this cold shoulder, like, this guy is building, a castle on just, a haystack. Like, he does not know what he's saying.
See.
So there was just this initial comparison. The guy before you, this, that. No one has done this before. The company has never pushed any product to the Play Store, App Store. So why do you want to go retail?
Okay.
We started fighting. There's one particular day, myself and the head of development. He's my very good friend now. We had it hot. Terry, get out of our office. I said, I'm not going anywhere. I pushed him for the job.
Wow.
So that's how much passion I bring to my job.
Okay.
But guess what? 3 years down the line, that product, as of when I took it, February 2017,
Okay.
the product had delivered 34,000 naira in profit in 2 years combined.
34,000 naira.
Yes, by the third year after I picked it
Wow,
up,
that's a very low number.
we were doing 100 million in profit.
Wow. That's great.
Wow.
Oh yes.
Wow.
Give it to me.
So,
Yeah.
so that brings me to the question.
Yes.
Why do you think we need to understand product failure in the tech space?
Okay, product failure is a lot of things can contribute to product failure.
Okay.
right? And I would group it this way. First thing is, what does the market really want? All right.
Okay.
I'll give a bad example and I'll give a good example.
Okay.
One of my friends, after the MBA class, he even went to, I think, Yale or one of the schools abroad. When he got back, he was really gingered up. So the guy said, there's a problem in Lagos, traffic, especially that Aja axis, and a couple of, areas here, where we are. So he wanted to solve it at all costs. So he introduced the concept of bicycles. Okay. So why don't we introduce bicycles and let's push safety so that people can have all this calorie count, you can exercise. Like it made so much sense, right?
Yeah.
Will you work in Lagos? Do you get?
Yeah, I feel.
At the end of the day, your product had to be in 2 days. I'm very sure all his bicycles will be destroyed. Why? Bus drivers will knock the bicycle down.
Exactly.
So no matter how good it is on paper, when it comes to downfall in Lagos, some things just can't work.
Exactly. Yeah. Bad roads also.
Another one. There was one time my body was just doing me somehow. I was like, okay, let me try and introduce a product. But you has to catch me. So I was like, in traffic, there can actually be POS devices. And then the way guys hawk in traffic, literally you hawk money in traffic.
Money?
You hawk money now.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Not like, hey, you're inside. Have you not been inside? I don't know if you drive right now, but at some point in your life, have you not been inside the bus? You wanted to buy something, but you didn't have cash. So you really needed cash at that point. How do you get cash? You can't come down to go get cash because what you want to buy is even in traffic. Exactly. So in my head is like, total number of commuters. I was doing, if you see the numbers, so fanciful.
Yeah, let me even borrow. Why I would have supported the idea when you conceptualize it. Was, if you go to Kenya, for example, those guys are hawking traffic. They actually have time to do M-Pesa transactions. And they're like, if these guys have this patience, there are so many opportunities that you can put on the street when hawking.
Excellent. Now, it makes sense when we start talking about it like this. But let me introduce those boys that as soon as your car breaks down, you find them. You will not see them on the road. Definitely. But immediately your car breaks down, count to 100. You see about 6 of them.
Nowhere.
You ask for we
go bust your tire. Like, question is, if those guys can come from nowhere on the road, how are you sure your POS device and even the money that your guys in traffic will be distributing if it not be just grabbed and run and escaped? Those guys, they can do anything. So at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is a product could be fantastic. An idea can be fantastic, but if it's not what the market wants, then it cannot succeed.
Absolutely
Definitely.
right.
Especially in Nigeria.
Especially in Nigeria.
Yeah.
It's a special case.
Yeah.
All right. So, to the developer, do you think they prefer a product that is functional or the ones that everybody knows about? Like, it has gained popularity.
Let me put the question like this. Why is it developers don't understand this perspective the way you're saying it? Because at the end of the day, they should be happy wanting to see their product being utilized in the market.
Disclaimer. All right? If anything happens to me, hold on the developers in my life responsible, right?
I'm sure they're listening to you right now.
Guys, you see, I'm very sure I'm one of those guys that fought with developers the most. We don't fight. Literally, every company, because they just this, we're looking at time to market. It has to be according to plan. But sometimes developers like to take their time. They want it perfect. And then some, they want a functional app that's not fine. More like when you now see it, is it doing what it's doing? Yes. Let me give you an example.
Okay.
I have several examples.
Scenarios,
right?
yeah.
Several of them. Personally, I'm not going to give another person's, experience. I'll give mine.
Okay.
One of the companies I worked with, we were doing agency business, like agency banking.
Okay.
So we would take I was kind of managing that particular scheme, taking we had agents all over.
Okay.
So supporting the agents, making sure they are doing transactions, all across Lagos as at that time. And it was time to also go to some other major cities in Nigeria. Now, one of the biggest things we had was this.
Okay.
When we are in the field, occasionally, frequently, not even occasionally, we realized that onboarding was failing.
Okay.
Every time onboarding was failing. So you would have set out to say, I want to do 100 agents today, or a particular activation, 500 agents in a particular axis of Lagos. But you end up doing probably like 80.
Wow.
Okay.
Like you would expend all your effort, you will stretch the team thing, but still output will be zero. Why? When you look at the books, you see that close to 1,000 people attempted registration, but just about 80 were successful. All right. So whenever I bring that feedback home, there's especially the QA guy. There's a way he always this thing is beginning to sound like excuse. Oh, this is beginning to sound like excuse. This thing is working. I will make a lot of noise. I sabi ginger, so I will make a lot of noise. So I just get the right people like asking questions. So one particular day, apparently my name had already gotten to management that, oh, there's this guy that just saying the product is crap. You know the way you guys like to interpret feedback. Yeah, the way you guys interpret feedback. It's not, when we say it's not working, sometimes it's like,
But what
you cannot even say it's not working. What exactly is not working? But again, for those of us that are out there, the front desk, we are the ones that can say it's not working because someone could not register. Right? So we brought it home, more like they escalated. Yeah. And the MD, who happens to be a developer, came to the floor and said, who is Terry? In my head, I'm like, God, my village people don't finally catch me for Lagos. So he came around. He said, okay, I was told that every time you go to the field, the app does not work. Okay, now you have to trust someone. MD brought out his phone. What's your, okay, I'm sure you are registered. Who has a second line? Someone said, I have a second line. Let's use that to register. What's your name? In less than 5 minutes, registration completed.
So what's the problem?
So Terry, I don't understand what you're saying. Q was like, I said it. At least, MD has done it. You know the way people like suck up to MD. MD has done it and it's working. One spirit, that stubborn spirit just said, Terry, bring out your phone, ask for someone with a number. And I did. Who has another number that we can use? Someone raised their hand. Oh yeah, I opened my own version of the app. As I clicked register, it showed no, what was the error message? It just brought one error message. So, like, okay. So I looked at the MD like, but not everything you can say to your MD. But inside my mind, I was like, sure, you see him. So, and after some investigation, because the MD kind of felt a bit embarrassed. Like, how come it worked in my phone
and it don't work?
And this guy's phone, for real, it did not work. So something must be wrong. It involved audit. Okay. And that's at the end of the day, we found out that the version that the MD had was, premium version. It was so premium that it was not supposed to even fail. But so it's a couple of things that they have like removed some processes, all those, there's a BVN or NIN verification, some of those failure points, it eliminated all of them from, that process. So his own was just sweet. While ours that were taken to the market were not encountering those things. That's how that issue was resolved. Yeah, we were able to turn it around eventually, but sometimes developers focus too much on functionality. Is it functionality? Like,
I won't say functionality.
It's working here. So when you give them feedback from the market, there's just this pushback as if you are accusing. So rather than take it as like
you're ridiculing their hard work.
So it's like, are you saying after all this effort, we even tested, QA tested, you're saying, so again, there are dynamics to it, but for real, I know they agree. They don't agree. But online,
I think what you're saying is not strange. It's anywhere, because when you have a team who have different interests, there's going to be this cohesion where everybody is trying to protect his interests, and at the end of the day, it's for the success of the product. Yeah. So it's for a while. So it's just how to manage these things that really matters. Yeah. Well, not up to the extent where you start throwing
fighting.
No. On the job, we can. Just to make sure we push each other. It's like
exactly
to bring the most, the most out of it. Now, let me extend your question a little bit. Okay. All right. There was this my current employment. There's this particular product we are taking to the market. So what we're doing, we're trying to digitize ecosystems in Nigeria.
Okay.
So campuses, large gatherings, like large communities that are like, that have one purpose, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Something like a redemption camp, for instance, like universities, those ones, but like a lot happen in that space that a lot of people don't even know of, including the administrators of those places, right? So the question is, so we started digitizing. So after we built the MVP, we took it to two schools to test, private schools. Okay, you guys test this, let's even see. On one particular school, there was no kind of incentive that we didn't take there. Tote bags, like what Gen Z is like. Tote bags, water bottles, pens, money, everything. But we realized that out of the number of people that downloaded the mobile app, and it was even branded for their school, but out of all those that downloaded, only 2 people from final year downloaded.
Wow.
So when we got back, we considered it
registered.
Like downloaded and registered.
Okay.
Just 2 final year people. So the question was like, so when we go back, we was like, it was a successful campaign. But my business analyst guy was like, when he put the numbers together, like 2-3 days later, and he was like, sorry, there seemed to be a higher percentage, close to 41% downloaded, 100 level students downloaded the mobile app, and it was just coming down. But when it got to final year, it was literally 0.00, like compared to the numbers we have of the school. So that now opened up the conversation, like what happened? So we went back to the school, paid a couple of visits, and we started targeting just final year people. Once we introduced, I'm in final year, so okay, sorry, about the mobile app, have you heard of it? He said, yeah, you guys are everywhere in the school. We branded the school, right? Because we needed like a critical mass to see how this is going to apply. So we got there and we started asking only final year students, what happened? Why are you guys not downloading? The feedback we got, it was one majority of them said, no. You guys said it's for 100 level. Like, at what point did we even say
that
it's for 100 level? Apparently some of the use cases that we were talking about is like when you get into school and you want to ask questions, where is this place? Usually some people can be very naughty, especially public schools. You ask them for like, where is the library? And they just direct you to the other side of school. So we're like, so you see, as simple as that example,
a cruise.
It turned off the final year students. That so I don't know. We're from a place of, so you guys want to come and make freshers too independent now, they don't even need anybody. And then there's nothing in it for me. I can't wait to get out of this school. Why do I even want the school app and all of that? So we had to go back. We now started asking, what can we put in it that will even make you want to use the app? That feedback helped us pivot, to a clearer version of our app. What we did was we now had, in fact, from their feedback, we had 2 additional revenue streams from the feedback they give to us. We were able to put it together. The dev team, converted it into, a functionality and that's how we're able to, like, the next time we went there, we had pretty much a similar adoption level from 100 level to final year. So what I'm trying to say, taking that your stuff forward is, if you are building an app, if you want it to succeed, you must ask yourself one question.
Okay.
That question is, who is my app primarily for? All right? Primarily, who is it for? And let your branding, let your communication, let your PR revolve around that primary target. Because they are really the people. So if you build an app for Gen Zs, right? But you want to extend it so that baby boomers can, benefit from it. And you want to extend it so that Gen Alpha, like the very young ones that like from 10 to like 18, they can also benefit from it. At the end of the day, who are you targeting? But if you focus the app for Gen Zs, there is a way those guys can get others to like fall in line and use it. You get? But most times, what companies kind of do is they target everybody.
Yeah.
And once you target everybody, you cannot be as successful.
Wow.
If you had targeted just one segment that you think is your critical market.
That's nice. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. So based on what you discussed now,
Yeah.
talking about the Gen Zs and the primary target of a product.
Yes.
So how can businesses get early adopters for their products? And when they get these new users, can they what are the things that they need to do? What are the factors that they need to consider in order for them to be able to get referral from these new users?
Okay. Thank you very much for that.
Okay.
You see, right now, according to the last a bit of research I did from our population research,
Okay.
right now, those Nigerians that are between the ages 0 to 40, 0 to 20 or so,
Okay.
they are about 41% of our population.
Interesting.
That's a lot of people,
Okay.
that are below 20, right?
Amazing.
Now, the Gen Zs that you wrap the question around, they are those from like 18 to 27, 28,
Definitely.
right?
27.
Now, that bracket, right? They are close to about 20%, 20 to 30% of the Nigerian population.
Wow.
That's why, the average age of Nigeria is 17.99 years. Pretty much 18 years old. So Nigeria is a very, very, very young population. All right? Because those above 63, they are less than 1%.
Wow.
All right? Now, that's what statistics
Mhm.
has shown. So the question is, if you want to build a tech product, who should you really be targeting?
Gen Z.
All right?
Well, as much as the answer looks very straightforward,
Yes.
the question also you need to ask yourself, you as a business,
Mhm.
what if you are planning to play the short-term gains to get in something?
Okay.
Then
Makes sense.
that doesn't really add up.
Okay, now that makes sense. Now, again, you can actually build a product that targets those that are earning very high. It's still a target segment. So you could build a product to say, okay, you know what? I want to target those that are 40 and above. And yeah, your target segment is small.
Exactly.
But my warning, if I were to sound one, is don't build a product targeting those that are 40 and above.
Okay.
And then you now want to kind of extend it down to Gen Zs because Gen Zs is what is like now the in thing.
Okay.
More like stay in your lane, so that your communication, your adverts,
Your strategy.
your sales, your proposals, all of it would align with the target segment. Don't be too jazzy. Don't be too vibrant when you are targeting old people, because at the end of the day, you start mocking them. And let me give you an example.
Okay.
When I was working in an FMCG company,
Okay.
right? There was one of our brands that was not performing very well, right?
Okay.
Then I was interning with them. It wasn't doing well. And it was doing very well. So it was now rebranded so that, it can do better. But it wasn't. Now, the sales team were currently last, especially in northern Nigeria. So when they started drilling down, in the north, that product was doing pretty much zero. Despite that, in recent years, it was doing way better in the north. So the question is, okay, what happened? Why is no one doing it? So they had to pay a research company to help us find out why people are not buying this product again in the north. So they launched stuff into the heart of northern Nigeria. And the findings were wild. It was just one thing that made people not to buy. You know what it was?
What's that?
On the wrapper of that particular candy, is it candy? That particular candy on the wrapper had a polar bear. I know a polar bear is white because it's minty. So polar bear represents something make your mouth cool, no smells, minty and all of that. So that polar bear in the north was interpreted to be a pig. Oh yes. And so when people started saying it from one person to another, that it's like they put a little bit of pork inside this, so we cannot take it again.
And most of them are Muslims.
Exactly, it's against
my God.
You get so sometimes,
Wow.
It's when adoption relies on a lot of factors. All right. So if you are not listening to your customer, no matter how fantastic your product is, forget.
Wow.
It will not gain any adoption. If you don't listen to the customer, for instance, the earlier example I gave, if we did not listen to the feedback from final year, we would be busy wasting money trying to incentivize getting the app. Guess what will happen? They will download, but they will not use.
Yeah.
So that they can get the incentive.
Exactly.
Do you understand? So
Yeah, I get.
sometimes market insight should help you even know how to respond. When some companies, when they get market insight, the next thing, hey, incentivize that segment that's not buying. If you incentivize it, they will come on board. When they come on board, what is the ROI? What is the value to you for that incentive that you are giving out? Do you get?
Yeah.
So I've given 2 examples of what can happen, to a product to lose adoption. However, now taking it a step forward, when you now say the early adopters, what do you do to make them evangelists? All right. For those that would jump on your product the first time, to make them evangelists, I will use some examples. Since majority of the Nigerian population is now a youth population, I will use popular examples. Let me use some examples that everyone can relate to. Next level prayers, that's NLP.
Yeah.
And then NSPDD. All right. I'll tell you why, these 2,
Church.
as example, not really church.
Okay.
These 2 movements, let me call
Okay.
it that way, why they are very successful. And then you see that the people are loyal.
Yeah.
They are like a team all the time. All right. They are they understood on time that the larger population of Nigeria are young people. So they made prayer very attractive. The truth is, normally, prayer is kind of, it seems like it's boring.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and then the way traditional churches do it, let me take you a step back. 10 years ago, during devotion, what would Momsi say? Mom would say, you need to have a personal relationship with God.
God.
More like the effort has to be you.
Yeah, exactly.
More like if you don't make the effort, then more like God will not make the effort. So it will just that thing, right? And that's how the traditional churches, they are still that way. Most of them are trying to adjust quickly, but they're pretty much that way. More like it's between you and God. But what people like the hosts of NLP prayers, NSPPD prayers, they realize that no, although it's your job to have a relationship with your God, we can enable it. And that's why instead of before you pray to God, you must kneel down, they brought something like, on YouTube, you can just plug in. All you need to be doing is say amen.
Amen.
Little effort, but you are making a rock solid Christian soldier. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Now, if you flip it to those traditional churches, no. You want to pray. How can you pray inside a bus? How can you pray inside the toilet? Come to church for midweek service so that you can pray.
Yeah.
Whereas
Sacrifice.
we are busy. Do you get? Now, let's bring it back to business, right? Because it's the same mentality. If you want people to adopt your product, then create a community. Create the ability for them to, explore. On the slide that's showing right now on the screen, you will see I have put there an old sales funnel and the new sales funnel. The old sales funnel has awareness, after awareness, interest. So you create awareness and then you probably put like a call to action, join or do something, interest, and then you also now do other things that sparks desire before an action is taken. Like either they buy, they subscribe, or they join. It depends on what you're selling. But the new sales funnel, like the new way sales is done, especially given the segment you are targeting, anywhere between 10 and 40. Anybody aged 10 and 40. If you want them to really love your product, there are a couple of things you do. First thing, you inspire.
Okay.
So instead of awareness is no longer enough.
Okay.
All right. Let me give you awareness. Difference between awareness and inspiration. Awareness is when we are the church will now organize a bus. Now put loudspeakers and be praying, just singing all these songs and moving down the road.
Okay.
You now see people branded shirts. Hey, come for our program, come for our program. That's awareness. All right? But inspiration is, you know, when there's a reason to do. So you say at the early stages, sorry, I'm using prayer. Yeah, I'm a church guy, but you know, I'm trying to use this because again, it's an observation, and I'm sure people can easily relate to this.
Yeah.
You know, what inspiration is when you are like, you make something like easy enough that someone will start looking forward to it. How do they do inspiration? One of the things that is very, very common with these prayer groups that I've talked about is testimonies.
Definitely.
So you see people coming to share the testimonies. This is how it has happened to me. As I was praying, there was a particular song, and the guy called out his name. Get up! And someone that was just operated on got up, and like that's inspirational. Who does not have problems in Nigeria? So when you belong to a place where a lot of stories or a lot of inspiration is done, guess what? You want to just stay a bit more. Because of this. So rather than you see people playing music, dancing around, and sharing flyers, right? Not like without evidence. That's just awareness. You put someone's testimony out there that it happened to me. There could be 100,000 people that same thing is happening to. Guess what? You already have 100,000 people who wants to join that prayer because the God that can do it for Mr. A can do it for Mr. B. Now, after inspiration, you go to exploration. Inspiration is not enough. Come and share your own. All right? That's why you see that in these prayers, for instance, there is the room for people to share their testimony. And they go the length to broadcast it. Forget. It's a sales gimmick. Sorry, pastors. In case I'm touching you, I'm not supposed to touch. Alright? But again, it's a sales thing. Now, they know the audience. Give them an ability to explore. Like, let them come and play around it. Look at the AI models that we have today. The ones that are most successful, the ones that are open source.
Yeah, open source.
More like you can play with it. The truth is, Mr. Prolific himself, if he has an idea that can better an AI should I say AI service? Model. An AI model. Yeah. Guess what? He goes in there because it's open source and adds his own contribution. But traditional dev models never will give you intellectual property.
The world guardian.
Do you understand where we're going? So the world is changing. Buying preferences is all changing, but most people are stuck in the past. The next level after inspiration and exploration is community. Right? And that is what has happened. You now put them in a community where the community admin is actively engaging. That's why, back to the prayer thing, you see them, the leaders engaging actively. All right. Oh, I spoke with this person. Hello. They just put a video and all of that. It shows that, oh, okay, we belong to this community. Yeah. It may never get to your turn, right? For you to like do, but because you're seeing other people do it, you feel like, yeah, now our thing. This is our thing.
To get to my turn.
Get to my turn one day. That's why. And when I'm going to work, there are a couple of radio stations I listen to, like, to just get updated. And when I hear people calling, in my head, I'm like, will I ever call in?
Yeah, I used to have that feeling too.
Like, will anything ever happen that will make me call into a radio station until 2 days ago?
Really?
How I called.
Finally.
Because that particular topic touched me directly.
Wow.
And I had to give my own perspective. Do you know what happened?
What happened?
They have put me into the community of listeners. They've made it easy for people to call. And I was now inspired. I was now encouraged to call. Normally, you will never hear my voice in that kind of thing.
Wow.
But because this particular topic, I had a very hands-on experience that I wanted to share, like to better someone out there. I did it. Now, the final thing in the new sales funnel is, loyalty. Now, people become loyal when they think they are part of the community. That is why if you are creating products, one of the things, especially tech products, one of the things I encourage people to do, if your model supports it, create a, let's say, forum, like a place where people can say something, more like people can have a stake in it. So, for instance, you can just create a small forum where you are discussing the next the next
Feature.
Feature.
that will be coming out.
Yeah.
So, okay, guys, this is what we want to do. What do you guys think? How should we do it? Should we have
like a
should
user
we-
group?
Yeah, like a user group kind of thing. Should we have names fully written, your KYC name, or we should use aliases? As basic as that thing, the few people that are going to say, let's use aliases, and then you see people liking that particular
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
you just see the preference of the general. When you now implement it, they will already, like, as soon as they see it, they're adopting. Do you know why? Because they think they are part of it.
Part of it, yes.
It's possible that you have already said, we may go for this aliases thing, but let's just sample opinion. But because you sampled opinion, it's no longer it's you guys
Yeah.
thing, rather it's
Our thing.
So the message is clear, right?
Yeah.
Buying preferences have changed, guys. If you have a tech product today or you're planning to build one, please look for a way to create inspiration, exploration, create a community, and finally, these three things will lead to loyalty. And that loyalty, that's where you now start having or making the real
The
money.
cash.
Because people will now want
Ego.
people want to subscribe
Yeah.
because they feel it's our thing. People want to pay for new things that you're bringing because they think it's your thing.
And the fact that it makes their life easy.
Yes, yeah.
I think you did a good one on it.
Yeah.
Because you brought an issue and we were able to like really kill it. But you also open up another issue which we must address before we
Okay.
close.
Yes, I'm good.
Because you would have to make us have a part 2 of this where we will also bring someone who from the tech side or the
Yeah.
dev side
Yeah.
to also expatiate better on
Yeah.
why what you're saying is. So I believe you can also do justice to this.
Yeah.
To avoid that.
Mhm.
My question is simple. At the end of the day, how do you think the dev team, the sales team can work effectively? Because it's a company, it's a team. And because the customers and everybody must perceive that you are one.
Yes.
You can't be on site when a product crashes. You're like, those guys at the office, like, they'll be wondering what's happening.
Yes.
So what will be your pattern statement in
Okay.
ensuring more collaboration, synergy,
Yeah.
and a healthy development environment?
Okay. You see, my dear developers, don't worry, we can work together better. Now, I'm smiling because as I'm saying this, I'm thinking about a couple of guys. All right. So for all of you that have ever harassed, please have mercy. All right. And then for all the developers that salespeople are mounting too much pressure on, forgive us. We are facing pressure from management because we need to deliver numbers.
The numbers, yeah.
All right. And those numbers will be used to pay salaries and deploy other resources that will make our lives easier. So please have mercy. Now, having said that, to foster proper, relationship is first, just maintain an open mind. The first way, as a salesperson, maintain an open mind that we salespeople, we have this mentality. We all have this mindset, not mentality, this mindset that is it not just we don't want it to be green anymore, make it blue. Is it not just to make it blue? No, don't worry. I've been very detailed. I will make promises to customers that don't worry, we'll turn it around in 2 days. Whereas that thing that you want to change can cause ripple effect all around the app, and bugs start coming up everywhere. So because I've made a promise, I don't want to look bad to the customer. I start mounting unnecessary pressure. And that pressure will bring friction. All right. So to work together effectively, I have a couple of thoughts I will share. One, sometimes join the sales team, developers, just freestyle, join the sales team on one of the days of their activation when they're in the field.
Exactly, yeah.
Just join them so that for once you even have like a first-hand experience when a customer is addressing your sales guy and say, no, it's not working. Don't think that they're just coming back to say it's not working. Actually, like experience it. By the time you find yourself explaining to 10 people what that particular thing, that no, it's not, just click on it. You don't have to long press it. Or long press it, you don't have to
just
click or swipe it. By the time you explain to 10 people, when the sales people say, no, this thing should not be long press, it should be quick. You should not be focusing on, no. If you do it like that, especially my UI, one of my very good friends, my UI UX guy, you not tell you, no, let me explain to you from a professional perspective. No, leave professional perspective for once. Let's hear the customer's perspective. That's the first way for them to work together. Go to the field, experience what the sales team or the marketing team or the activation team are experiencing. The next one is when you make timeline promises, because one of the biggest issues I've had with salespeople is timeline promises. When you're
salespeople and dev
I mean, dev, with dev people,
I thought you would turn on your guys now.
I've never thought
Yours is
about it. I'm not like them, you know. So for the sales brotherhood, don't worry. I got you back. All right. So now, if you for my dev guys, yeah, when you tell a salesman that okay, we'll do it in 2 weeks, I beg. Play that 2 weeks without 2 weeks.
You know the way.
Because we salespeople, we know how to embellish. We can go back to the customer and make that 2 weeks so fanciful.
Sorry to cut you,
all right?
But you know, sometimes it's not our fault.
Yeah,
sometimes there are some things that will just come up and you can't even like just meet up with that timeline.
But see, everything is everything there, you just to manage expectations. Okay. When you know that something is coming up, immediately you let the guy know that we may not be able to meet that timeline. Because sometimes when salespeople, when you have promised 2 weeks, 3 days to the end of the 2 weeks, you would have engaged the customer that how far now? Are you guys ready for this? We want the numbers to come in as soon as we deploy. Make sure that you guys are, imagine that you have given that kind of ginger and then on the day of the deployment, you now say,
story
from the way this thing looks, another 2 weeks.
Wow.
Waiting happen. Like there's no way we can never be good with me. Like we must fight.
The whole 2 weeks just came in.
Like why would you not know? So guys, dev guys, when you give timeline promises, keep them. Or the best way, give 2 timelines. Say, okay, we can run it in 2 weeks, but worst case scenario, and an additional week. The salesman knows exactly what to say to the customer to package them. Because sometimes when I look at my reputation,
what to go can't do my steeds?
I look at my reputation like in front of some of my customers like, Terry, you can't promise this guy anything again. We are sorry, sir. That's how you in your mind, you know that if I make promise to this guy will slap me. Do you get? So guys, help us with timeline promises. Do you get? Because sometimes our reputation is on the line. No, you can't trust Terry. Anytime Terry says 1 week, just know that it's going to be 1 month. Don't worry, customers have said that to me several times too. And usually not because of me. It's because of you guys. Them guys. All right, but we can always work together. My current team will work together very well, right? So because I've understood, experience will always bring some of these things. When they even make promises to me, I kind of validate it.
Yeah. You even look at the person giving you the promise.
No, hold on. Wait, are you saying, let's break it down? Sometimes I break a promise into milestones. Okay, on this day, what should I expect? So that I know that this last one will really be feasible. Because I've been able to, I've grown, so when I'm engaging dev team, it's from like a management level perspective, not, do you understand? Yeah. So it's not like so I'm not just going there as one junior guy that you just run along and for them to just let you go. I'm going there, we're having conversations, we're talking about consequences of not meeting the timeline and then how to better manage. So I would say, because my current team we really work better together, at least so far. Well, I'm not really fought, all right? Not really fought. But at least we understand ourselves. When we make promises, we validate them. And so pretty much, I think I've overtalked. Let me rest at this point.
Thank you.
You did a good job. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Terry. You really did a great job. And I believe our dev team out there and our product team will have 1 or 2 things to say to this.
We'll see them in the
guys should bring it. You guys should bring it. We are ready because on behalf of the salespeople in Nigeria, we are ready for you, dev, especially QA. We are ready for you. Right?
I think we all have issues with QA. Even dev team will have issues with QA.
No QA guys. They can be. They
are in the middle.
They be like police.
Yeah.
At some point, like, okay, I might give you 200 so that you'll be past.
If you pass me,
there's also a way they behave like police, like But again, they help. Because if they say this thing is not good and you take it out and it crashes, that's on you.
That's on you.
But, and if they say it's good to go, usually they take responsibility. So shout out to all the QA guys.
Thank you.
Doing a good job.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Terry. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, can our guests, can our audience reach out to you on Twitter and LinkedIn?
Oh yes, on LinkedIn I'm Terry Banks Uzakpo. On Twitter I'm @Terry.
Okay.
On
'Cause-
TikTok,
You're on TikTok.
yes.
Ah.
It's not built for me, but I found myself there because a lot of people are there too.
Okay.
So I'm on TikTok. On TikTok is at the boss office, and on Instagram is at Terry Banks Ozakpo. All of apart from TikTok, every other thing has the same name.
Okay. That Twitter is very important because we need to drag you very well.
Yeah,
on Twitter.
I beg you.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. I believe we've dev team especially. I believe you've learnt one or two things from Mr. Terry, and I believe going forward we will work better with our sales team. Yeah, and we are ready to give out our best to our customers, right? So if you have any question or you want to attack Mr. Terry, drop it in the comment section.
Okay.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on our socials, on Instagram, on Twitter. And also, I have one more thing, just like Mr. Terry said. Well, I don't know if he's going to mention it, but we have a community. And
nice.
if you would like to join our community where you can connect with dev teams, you can connect with developers, product designer, QA, CTOs, CEOs, HRs, and also get direct job offers. Yes, you heard me, direct job offers. So just join through the link that will be attached to this video, and I will leave it to my co-host to also give us a closing words.
All right, thanks for joining. I think we did a good job in trashing this topic. We've gone through from the dev to the sales people, which we believe there will be more collaboration. We believe this is going to inspire someone out there. Till the next episode, looking forward to catching up with you.
Bye.
Bye.